Nicolás Maduro is now confronting what many insiders call the gravest and most immediate threat to his leadership, after U.S. President Donald Trump issued a stark warning suggesting that military action against Venezuela was firmly on the table. In response, Venezuela's president dramatically tightened his personal security, constantly changing beds, locations, and burner phones in a desperate attempt to stay ahead of any potential targeted strike. Since September, Maduro repeatedly rotated his sleeping spots every night, while U.S. warships in the region intensified operations, striking vessels that Washington accused of trafficking drugs. The New York Times, citing multiple officials inside the Venezuelan government, revealed detailed accounts of Maduro's contingency plans to physically escape or survive a sudden U.S. military strike. 7 individuals closely linked to Maduro's inner circle agreed to speak only under strict anonymity, fearing severe government retribution or potential prosecution if their identities were exposed. These sources said Maduro privately believed he could still ride out this latest and possibly most dangerous challenge to his 12-year rule, assuming he could maintain control long enough for tensions to cool. During this period, Maduro leaned heavily on his Cuban allies, expanding the presence of Cuban bodyguards and intelligence officers woven directly into his most protected inner circle. Sources say Cuban officers were even embedded inside key Venezuelan military units to reduce the risk of betrayal and ensure unwavering loyalty across the chain of command. Insiders described a ruling inner circle consumed by tension, fear, and uncertainty, even as Maduro continued to publicly project an image of absolute confidence and control. Despite multiple inquiries, Venezuela's communication ministry offered no response or clarification regarding the president's escalating security measures and internal precautions. In public appearances, Maduro dismissed U.S. threats as political theater, choosing instead to dance, sing, and pump out carefully curated propaganda videos across TikTok and social platforms. However, behind the scenes, Maduro has quietly reduced public events, official schedules, and live broadcasts, raising further questions about his actual security situation. Donald Trump has repeatedly branded Maduro a narcoterrorist, accusing him of running a vast criminal network responsible for flooding the United States with illegal drugs. American officials allege Maduro oversees the Cartel de los Soles, an organization Washington has formally designated as a terrorist group tied to narcotics trafficking. Officials in Washington say the aggressive narcoterror narrative was deliberately shaped to build global support for regime change and justify heightened U.S. pressure. Trump, meanwhile, alternated between open military threats and surprising diplomatic overtures, hinting at a possible safe exit deal that could end Maduro's presidency peacefully. Last month, Trump and Maduro reportedly held a direct phone call to explore the possibility of a face-to-face meeting, even as tensions between both sides escalated dramatically. According to the New York Times, the two leaders had earlier discussed potential terms under which Maduro might step down or transition out of power. Those talks eventually collapsed, prompting the United States to escalate its military posture and intensify pressure on Caracas in an effort to force concessions. However, on December 4th, Maduro insisted that his first direct conversation with Donald Trump was surprisingly respectful, suggesting the door for dialogue remains open. Look, effectively, some 10 days ago approximately, from the White House they called to Miraflores Palace. And I had a phone call with President Donald Trump. The press of the world have spoken about it. When there are important things, they have to be in silence until they happen. So I talked with President Donald Trump. I can say the conversation was in a respectful tone. I can even say it was cordial between the U.S. president and the president of Venezuela. And I say more, if that phone call means that there are steps being taken towards a respectful dialogue between the two states from country to country, then welcome the dialogue, welcome the diplomacy, because we'll always welcome the dialogue and the peace. Speaking in English now, welcome dialogue, welcome diplomacy, welcome the peace. Peace, yes, War, never in the life.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that look, you will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest news makers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the U.S. will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry ghats.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HD videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that look, you will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest news makers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the U.S. will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry ghats.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HD videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.